What's up, everyone? It's Bo here, and we are back on the FANCRAFT realm and doing some fun things today. I know Sarcasm is hard at work coming up with a really epic design for the Pokemon gym that we built last episode, but we are actually going to be leaving the Nintendo District today and heading straight for the Star Wars District. Ooh, but first, you know what? We actually need to visit Bowser's Casino because despite all of my hard work at opening up this casino and creating the amazing games that are located here, or specifically, you know, the one press your luck game, this has actually netted me absolutely 0 diamonds. So that's not great, okay? I'm acknowledging that that's not great. That's not a good thing. So I think what we need to do is we need to up the ante. We're going to showcase, okay? I was going to keep some of the prizes hidden, but I'm actually going to showcase them a little bit because we got some different ones, okay? We got a Skulker box instead of a Shulker box. We've got this or that, which we showed off last time. This is a pretty good get right here. We've got the Boom box. This is kind of a fun themed one. We got the Shiny box with a lot of good shininess. And of course, we've got the Jackpot. Face it, Tiger. This is the one that you're looking for. Like, we've got some good stuff, okay? It's great, all right? People online, okay? I made a little Bowser's Casino short, and people were giving me a little hard time in the comments saying that, you know, that this was like a scam or something. This is no scam, okay? It's a casino, okay? It's a gamble. I'm not going to lie. But there you go. It's all loaded up. It's got the good stuff. I am a man of my word. And now it is time to head to the Star Wars District. Because you see, I have been thinking about the Star Wars District a lot lately, and not just because Bad Batch is coming back on Disney Plus, and I'm really looking forward to watching the final season of that series, but because something popped up recently here in Central City at the Snow Globe. This right over here. Block Bounty will pay 50 diamonds for 1 Deep Slate Emerald ore. Now, this is very interesting for a number of reasons. That's a lot of diamonds for one for one reason, but also because this, I don't know who put this here, but putting these signs kind of up everywhere is probably not the best place to get people's attention. I mean, I saw this, and I would imagine actually, okay, so it's by the Nether Portal. That's not the worst location for it. But I mean, come on. I literally have a bounty hunter's spaceship in the Star Wars District that is not being used for anything. I think we need to kind of open up a black market here on FANCRAFT. And I think, like, you know, doing some sort of, like, you know, headhunt, not necessarily assassinations per se. I mean, like, you got to do what you got to do. But I'm just saying that, like, you know, ideally for, like, resources that might be hard to get, that people are willing to pay a lot of diamonds for, possibly services provided. I don't know. Just something like that could be kind of cool. So that's what we're going to do today. But that's not all, because in thinking about this, I realized that there's a lot of updates that I can do to this kind of biome build in particular. This thing was probably one of the most expensive pieces of land that I have purchased all season, and I really haven't done anything with it. I mean, as you can see, you know, it looks really, really cool. We had our fun and games with the Dark Saber artifacts, you know, trials and bounty hunter trials and all that kind of good stuff, Mandalorian games, and that was great. But since then, this has just kind of been standing here and looking good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It definitely looks good, but we could do more. And then also with our TIE Bomber, you know, originally I had this as kind of like a gladiator pit that became something of a gunpowder shop. But as you can kind of see, I've cleaned it up a little bit and turned it into a TNT shop. So this is great. We now actually do have a purpose for which the TIE Bomber exists and kind of its landing platform. And, you know, it's much cleaner. There's not a whole lot going on, but you can come in, you can get yourself some TNT. We got that over here. We've also got some bones, just because why not? Maybe the Empire is trafficking in bones. I don't know. But anyway, there's a shipment of bones and shipment of TNT right underneath the TIE Bomber. I think that's a good use for the space. But I've had this idea for, like, maybe there being more than just this one door. Like, maybe there's a shop off to the side over here that sells something. Maybe even like a droid factory where we sell copper could be really, really cool. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be building up a droid factory and opening up the black market. Now, copper is a very interesting thing to try to sell. It is abundant in the sense that, like, you know, you do some mining, you're going to find a lot of copper, but to get it into a form that you can actually use it is quite the undertaking. Like, all right, so we've got right now 64. That's a full stack of copper, right? So let's just lay this out. All right, full stack of copper laid out right here. We're going to use our efficiency, or rather our Fortune 3 pickaxe, and see what all we get from this. Okay, this is great. Look at this. Look at this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5 stacks of copper. But here's the thing. We need 9 stacks to make just 1 stack of copper blocks. Not to mention that we also have to smelt this down to make it into copper bars. So once it's all said and done, what we're looking at after all of that is only 53 blocks of copper. So this kind of gets to the tricky factor. How do we price this stuff, right? I mean, like, how do we price out what copper blocks should be worth, given that they take so much effort to make? I think a good price would be 6 diamonds for a full stack or 3 diamonds for a half stack. And frankly, for the amount of work, effort, resources, and time that goes into making these things, I feel like that's a bargain. Like, that's a steal. So that's what we'll be selling it for. But let me know your thoughts. How much do you think we should charge for a full stack of copper blocks? With all that in mind, put it in the comments. Let me know. Whew. All right. Time has passed, and I had every intention of recording the process of making this droid factory. But, yeah, I went ahead and did it. I intended to record it. I wanted it to be all part of the process, but at least now I get to show it off. The old scheduling has been kind of rough. But anyway, as you can see, first of all, actually, let's pull out. So take a look at the door. I love this kind of lighting design. I feel like this communicates a very Star Wars-esque look to it. I mean, yes, it's not as much like Death Star or Coruscant as perhaps the rest of the biome, but this definitely has a very Star Wars feel. And given that we were going for both a copper and kind of droid factory in the overall design and aesthetic, I think this kind of does it. It's a simple thing, but I really love this. I think that turned out really well. All right, but so let's go inside, right? So, ta-da, we have got a conveyor belt with little parts, specifically copper ingots, going from I guess from one furnace into another. Now, how it all makes sense, I don't know. I mean, if you go back and watch Attack of the Clones, that droid factory made no sense whatsoever. I mean, they were more interested in destroying droids than building droids, I think, when it was all said and done. So, that works. This is like that, but on a very micro scale. As you can see, we do have one little mouse droid, or perhaps a larger one, going back and forth above, lighting up the room with kind of some cool ambient lighting with the redstone in the works. And of course, our copper blocks are right here for those 3 diamonds for 32 that we discussed earlier. So I think this is really good. I think this does kind of communicate exactly what I was hoping for, but it does need some droids. It's got to have some droids, and I you know what? I got an idea. Okay, so one thing is making some little copper-looking dudes right here inside the room, and I think that's good. I mean, it'll be more of the idea of a droid than an actual droid. Like right here, if we were to, let's say, work with this acacia, and let's see, we'll put one right over here. Give him a little top, give him some wheels, clean him up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And then, of course, he will need a friend. Every friend needs a head and, legs. Legs are good, too. And there you go. So, the idea of a couple of droids, chill it out, or maybe that have just been built or have yet to be programmed here in the droid factory, it's not perfect. Okay, I recognize it's not perfect. We're going for an idea. All right, we're communicating a lot here. Oh, you know what? And actually, we need to make sure that this color stays right, which kind of has me thinking we might also want to sell some honeycomb. Possibly even next door. I mean, we could put some underneath the TIE bomber, but what if we put right here, kind of like an oil bath or like a droid spa? That could be kind of cool. Let's get some sleep real quick. But first things first, we do want some droids hanging out of the droid factory, and I think we want something a little bit more on the nose, if you kind of know what I mean. Maybe you're kind of already piecing together based on what I've got here. Okay. Oh, man, this is great. This is good. This is great. There we go. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. We got a little C-3PO and R2-D2 chilling out next to the droid factory. I mean, that just makes sense, right? I mean, that's solid. It's the idea, right? It's what these represent. I mean, it's Minecraft. It's not going to be perfect, but you get it. I think this is great. Man, I'm actually super proud of how this little thing turned out. Now we'll see if it actually makes any diamonds. I mean, sometimes these shops work and sometimes they're just, they're cool that we've got them here. So we'll see what ends up happening. Actually, this wall looks a little bland. There we go. It's like a little shelf for some other like heads or processing units or something like that. That works. Okay, now it's full. Now we're looking right. So there we go. The Droid Factory is now officially open for business here in the Star Wars district. And like I said, I am loving the idea of some kind of like oil bath spa next to it. But at the moment, I'm going to leave this as it is. I mean, maybe, now that I say it, maybe it actually would make more sense to do something like that at the Lars homestead, except I don't want to confuse what that's for, because that's, of course, where we sell our sand. And we've got other things to do. I mean, after all, we started this thing off by talking about how we need to open up a black market here in the Star Wars district. And that's what we're going to do over here. Now, this is not going to be anything grand or huge. I mean, ideally, it's just a matter of kind of putting up like a jobs board to some extent, like just a, like when you go to the local coffee shop and they've got kind of stuff for sale or like events or something like that. Think that, but like, on the black market. And for the moment, we're just going for simple. And actually, let's clear that off so that's not going to be up on the glass. But like the idea is, you got maybe not so close together. But yeah, something like that. So it's just really kind of almost like a drop box. You come in and you put whatever it is. Like say I was willing, all right, so let's say that I wanted like, I don't know, like 500 blocks of terracotta. Okay. And I would be willing to like pay a netherite helmet. Well, put up the netherite helmet and then write 500 blocks of terracotta for one enchanted helm. Inside is the payment. You take the payment once you've actually delivered what it is. So there you go. Now, whoever wrote this block bounty of 50 diamonds for one deep slate emerald ore. See, now you can put up or shut up. Put the 50 diamonds in, and if someone, maybe me, I don't know, someone has this block, then that'll be a good way to handle the exchange. And if you need to do it discreetly, well, now you have a means of doing so discreetly. But all right, so we need to figure out about this whole wax situation, because they're complementary products. I do see that working out well, and I'm not necessarily opposed to selling the wax here, but I really like the idea of keeping this shop just purely for copper. For one thing, I like the idea of diversifying the kind of shops that we have around the various biomes and the various districts. And so I want to encourage that by doing so myself. The question is just, where do we put it? And also, where am I going to get this wax from? Because I don't have a wax farm, or at least I don't currently, but I've got an idea of how I might be able to convert a portion of my base into a brand new wax farm. And through the miracle of time... Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Be happy, be healthy. Wasn't that the old adage? Okay. Hi, guys. How's it going? Yeah, I think it's safe to say we've made ourselves some friends, and our friends have made us some wax. Let me explain. So right now we are underneath my base. In fact, actually, I should probably, once these guys chill out a little bit, actually, let me make sure we get a couple more being cool and groovy with each other, so that we can increase our bees. It looks like we have too many, but we could always use more bees. Okay, yes. So, of course, this is my base. This is kind of the interior of my base. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, let's be real. This is my base, right? Like, this is my base. It was I guess episode 2 is when I actually first built this thing. It has been both my starter base and, for all intents and purposes, it has been kind of my main base. I keep on telling myself at some point I'm going to build, I don't know, like a bigger base or like a mega base, but my focus has been the community builds and like really kind of helping to keep our central city going and flowing. And so this is all a massive collaboration of all the crafters, but I've really wanted this to be my primary focus, and I'm glad for it. So yeah, this has been my very simple base, and it has served me really well because while it looks very pleasing and also kind of unassuming out of the way up top, if you go back into the back, that is where kind of the heart and brain of the base is. You've got kind of my main storage area right here, which surprisingly I have not run out of storage. I've been pretty good about only kind of having what I need, and that's worked out pretty well. So I've got storage and crafting right in the front, but in the back, I of course have my wool production. This has produced all of the wool that I have needed and that I've been able to sell at the Baskin-Robbins location in the Marvel District. But down below, I don't know if you recall this, but I actually used to have a cactus farm down here. This was like a massive cactus and pumpkin farm, and you can kind of see some of the remnants of what used to be with the water flowing underneath. And to some extent, the pumpkins and the melons are still there, but I decided to grass up this area, throw in a bunch of, hives, as you can now see, get a bunch of bees. I've been, feeding them a ton of flowers and keeping a good diversity of flowers down below so that they can go and make the honey and all that kind of good stuff. And then I have some very light, this is not like a big producer at all, but just some basic passive bamboo creation as well. And it's all hooked up basically to the exact same system. Originally, I had it so that whenever our pumpkins or melons would pop, in fact, actually, if we go back here, you can kind of see we've got our melon and pumpkin farm right here that's kind of producing these. Those are pushing those against the dirt, and then they're falling into the water below that's going into a collection system. And then over here, of course, over here is where we've got the bamboo, which will press out and push the bamboo down into that exact same collection system. And then our wax is being gathered, and it's all being timed. Like everything down here is being timed with, I think that hive right there. So whenever that hive produces honey or gets full all the way, that triggers the system to, prune all of the honey around us, as well as push the pistons for our bamboo, which brings it all the way down to the bottom floor where all of it is being gathered. So you've got our pumpkins, we've got our melons, we've got our bamboo, and then this right here, yes, the honeycomb has been doing very well. So we're doing okay. We are in a really good place to start selling some honeycomb, or at least start getting ready with our droid spa. But as the sun sets here at FANCRAFT, I do think that is going to actually do it for us for today. We've made some significant progress in the Star Wars district, and I'm really proud of these new builds. I'm going to need a little bit more time to figure out this droid spa concept. I know we're definitely going to sell that wax, just don't necessarily know where and how yet. But we'll do that sometime in the future. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this series, and thank you so very much for tuning in. That is going to do it for me for today. But until next time, goodbye.